The day Lucille found Babiole lying in the alley, its little body trembling beneath the dim street lamp, she nearly collapsed. She thought she wouldn't live to see morning, I thought, she told herself, but there it was, a single, tiny porcelain creature, cracked and half buried in refuse. Its one eye was chipped, the wings smeared with grime. Yet it looked at her as though it recognized her. That moment carved a hollow in Lucille's chest. Something about Babiole's battered form mirrored the fracture she carried inside. She had buried so many parts of herself, her dreams, her name, her hope, that seeing Babiole felt like staring at her own reflection. She crouched, heart hammering, and whispered, "What happened to you, little one?" And Babiole, with a voice softer than a sigh, answered. Main conflict. Part 1, Lucille's turmoil. Lucille had lived 2/3 of her 29 years in shadow. To the world, she was an assistant at a dusty archive, invisible behind stacks of parchment. But in her mind, she was a poet. She wrote lines no one ever read, crumpled them, buried them. When her mother died, she left the farm, the place she belonged neither in nor out of, and swore she'd never return. Still, every time she closed her eyes, she felt the land calling, the wind over wheat fields, the smell of rain on dry ground. In the city, she was wilting. She felt hollow, haunted by regret. Babiole's unexpected address to her shocked her, startled the rational mind she'd long trained. She wanted to run. She wanted to deny what she'd just heard. But running was harder now. The creature sat there, fragile yet determined, waiting. Part 2, Babiole's burden. Babiole was not simply a porcelain doll or toy. It was an emissary, a fragment of something ancient. It had once belonged to a child queen in a forgotten realm beyond the human eye. It had watched kingdoms crumble, seen wonders and horrors, and carried the memory of a realm that time forgot. Over centuries, it had changed form, shrank, broken, hidden, until only this battered shell remained. Its purpose, to find someone who could restore its power, someone whose heart had been broken yet remained open to magic. That person was Lucille. Babiole's wings, though chipped, glowed faintly with the possibility of something beyond ordinary life. Babiole's conflict was this: to trust Lucille, who might recoil in fear, to recall memories so ancient they threatened to overwhelm its fragile shell, to balance the weight of destiny against the pain of its own fractures. Journey and emotional experience. Lucille carried Babiole home, wrapped in a coat, whispering to reassure the trembling thing. She questioned her sanity, but the whispered replies, the light in its eye, the gentle stir of wings convinced her otherwise. At night, Babiole told stories, of crystal palaces, of skies threaded with stars, of a queen who wept over her people's suffering. Lucille listened, tears tracking down her cheeks. She felt a kinship. She too had pushed away dreams, let life harden her, closed her heart. For Lucille, listening to Babiole's tales revived desires she thought dead, the longing to belong, to heal, to create. But she feared that if she tried to restore Babiole, she would lose what little safety she had. Her old wounds would bleed again, she would be vulnerable. Babiole sensed this fear. It tried to reassure Lucille that it would take care, that it would guide gently, that they would walk side by side. But even it could not promise there would be no pain. Meanwhile, something in the city stirred. A man known as the Curator learned of a strange being wandering in the streets. He hunted relics and fragments of the magical, binding them to his galleries. He coveted Babiole as the key to reviving lost power. The Curator's approach loomed like thunder, his knowledge and ruthlessness made him dangerous. One evening, as Lucille drifted to sleep, Babiole's soft voice cut through the dark, "He comes." She jolted awake. Shadows moved outside her window. She held Babiole close. From the darkness, a gloved hand slid beneath the curtains. The Curator had come. Fleeing was sudden. They ran through alleys, lights chasing them. Lucille's heart pounded, she realized now how fragile their defense was. During their escape, Babiole slipped from Lucille's grasp, falling, cracking further. Lucille caught it, horror freezing her for a breath. A deep fracture traced across its wing. Babiole cried out. Lucille cradled it, tears burning. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Babiole shook, its glow faint, wing drooping. Lucille felt something break inside. She had failed. But then Babiole's one remaining eye blazed, and a pulse of energy hurled them both forward. A hidden door in an alley wall swung open. They tumbled inside, into a chamber lit by starlight from unseen windows. The air hummed. The curator pounded at the door. Babiole whispered, "This is my realm. They cannot follow." The door shimmered. The curator's voice raged outside but no sound passed through. Lucille exhaled, leaning against the wall. She stared at Babiole, whose cracked wing was slowly knitting, silver lines of light sealing the fracture. Babiole spoke, "You freed me. You gave me safety. Now I can heal." Lucille wept with relief and fear and awe. Unexpected twists. Twist 1, the chamber was not just a refuge. It was a memory prison, a fragment of Babiole's lost domain. Inside its walls were echoes, ghost images of a queen weeping before a throne, shadows flickering of battle, gardens turning to dust. Lucille felt disoriented. Was this real, or memory made manifest? Babiole nodded, saying, "These are the ruins of what I was. To restore me is to rebuild what was lost, or break more deeply." Twist 2, as Babiole healed, a voice in the chamber spoke. Another fragment of the ancient realm, a wraith-like mirror of Babiole, emerged. It called itself Zyra, its wings whole, its eyes cold. Zyra claimed she was Babiole's twin, split in rage long ago. She had lingered in shadows, clawing at the world, feeding on fragments, waiting for her sister to return and free her. Zyra condemned Babiole for betrayal. She whispered that Lucille's bond was a trap, that in restoring Babiole, Lucille would also awaken Zyra. She vowed to infect Lucille's heart with doubts, anger, fear. Lucille froze. She loved Babiole but now she felt danger, treachery. The chamber trembled. Babiole's glow diminished as Zyra advanced. Twist 3, in the battle between Babiole and Zyra, Lucille realized that her own brokenness was key. The cavern's power responded to emotional truth. The more she acknowledged her own grief, her guilt, her hope, the stronger Babiole's magic. She cried aloud memories she buried, screamed regrets she locked away. Light swirled, cracks in the chamber glowed. Zyra hissed, attacked with shards of light. Babiole deflected them, but weakened. Lucille, moved beyond fear, placed her hand on Babiole's chest and offered herself, "Take my pain, take my sorrow, heal, become, whatever you must." Babiole's wings flared. A beam of light burst. Zyra shrieked and dissolved, scattering like ash. The chamber stilled. Babiole's body glowed whole, unbroken. But something new emerged. Lucille felt a spark inside her, a small wing pushing within her chest. She gasped. Babiole looked at her in wonder and sorrow. She had shared her essence.